Hello, everyone, and I see something went wrong on my other screen. Wait, what are you doing? What is this question? Eh, am I now sharing? No. Technical difficulties to start this. Okay. Don't know what I did wrong, but here we are. So, hey everybody, and let's get ready for another 3 hours of reading. 2 hours of reading across 3 hours time periods. I have moved on from what last week was a book that I thoroughly was not enjoying to one that I'm hopefully gonna love, which is The Mad Ship by Robin Hobb. So, second book in a Life Ship Trader series. First book in the series is one of my 2 5 stars of the year. So, here's hoping for a repeat. So let's see. Hello, Tufty. Hello, Josephine. Can confirm sharing. Yes, but there was something weird on the screen, which luckily I got away. Standard. Hi, Cleo. Hello. We also have nice little Buffy over here joining us for the introduction section and maybe even the entire rest of the day. Well, that depends because our day has been like two different things altogether. So a lot of raining most of the day to then now have beautiful sunshine. So it'll be either of those two. But considering it's UK, odds are rain. Hello, Larissa. Hello, Buffy, then as well. Yes, she is getting friendly with my table now. Yeah, I started going to work by bicycle now because, like, through our work, we can do kind of like bicycle leasing. And then you just need to make sure that you kind of go to the office with your bicycle, like 20% of the time at least. And so I did that, and now I have like an electrical bicycle, which is very nice. But so I've been going to work with bicycle for 2 days in a row now. And of course, today, like for the majority of the day, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to cycle back in the rain. Then the weather looked great, like for the hour and a half before I actually left. When I left, of course, it started to like slightly rain, but luckily it never, like it did rain, but like never so heavily that I got like absolutely soaked, luckily. It was sunny out and I was reading my book. Then the clouds came over and got too cold to sit outside. And now it's raining, so I'm back indoors. So the UK has, or like your part of the UK at least, has done the opposite of what has happened here, clearly. But yeah, I mean, it's also cozy in the evening indoors. And I love like being like indoors when it's raining outside and being able to like watch the rain. The perfect thing is when you then also hear the rain. Because I basically almost never hear the rain here, sadly, because like yeah, I'm at the ground floor of an apartment building and the rain needs to be coming in pretty diagonally for it to actually hit my windows. But I used to sleep under a tilted roof, let's say, and so I used to love falling asleep to the sound of rain. Yes, same here. This morning was horrible and the afternoon is really sunny. Yeah, I mean, yesterday was the same, but then today was supposed to only be bad weather, and then so like yesterday was not the same. Yesterday was cold in the morning and then very sunny in the in the afternoon. And then today we knew like it was going to be raining the entire time, so it's a nice surprise to have some sunshine still. And I think we've already skipped that particular part of the day where the sun that reflects off of the windows of the new building reflects right into my eye. Hello, how are you doing? Are you still reading Metamorphosis, right? I think you were reading. I used to cycle to work most days of the week, but then I started working from home. Yeah, I love going to the office because, it just helps me with motivation and avoiding procrastination, which is my main like difficulty in life. Real rain ambiance is the best, really. Yeah, exactly. I still have to bring in all my plants from the greenhouse. It's quite cozy in there. I went in to fiddle minutes ago and it was quite nice, but I need to get them in during the first sprint. They cannot stay in the greenhouse, or like, will it be too, I don't know, too Because the greenhouse is supposed to be relatively warm, right? Or does it throughout the night get too cold? Those lucky strawberries, exactly. It's high wind that I used to enjoy, but when I became a home owner, I stopped enjoying quite as much. What's going to fall off, break, etc. Yeah. Like, I will say that this morning I absolutely did not dress properly because my ears were hurting so much from the cold by the time I arrived. And then I did wear my like a cap when I went back home, but apparently I need to buy like a new cap because this cap doesn't properly fit underneath the how do you call it, the bicycle helmet. And I actually got something new for cycling, which is pretty cool. And these are bone conduction headsets. I don't know if anybody knows them. It's like it doesn't go in your ear, it goes over your ear, and then like it rests against your cheekbone, and then that transmits the sounds to your ears or your brain. Don't know exactly which one of the two, but and then you can still like hear the surrounding noises while still listening to music. In my case, I tried it with audiobooks and it actually worked pretty well on the way back. Like at some point I had to increase the audio because I was like cycling right next to a really busy sort of like street where they can drive up to like 90 kilometers an hour, I think. So there was a lot of noise there, but aside from that, it was pretty okay. So I'm very happy with them. I do not want to go to the office. I mean, I can understand. I think in our Zaventem office, less people go to the office as well, though a lot more of them have started to come back now as well. But it's also kind of like vicious cycle to some extent. If not enough people are going, then nobody wants to go because why go when there's only like two people in the office? Whereas our office always throughout the entire COVID period had a lot of people because a lot of the work that needs to be done there cannot be done from home. And my team can work from home, but then, at least even if you were coming, you still had the entire rest of the building that was filled. Whereas the other office are basically all functions that can work from home. So it was like completely abandoned for a long time. The overnight temperatures are still too low for the delicate plants. Gotcha. Hello, I was fixing a thing. Happy you fixed it. Hello, everybody. Hey, what thing? Just discovered the high pitched noise I've been hearing is the second hand on a new clock slowly scratching the glass covering. Lol. Nice. We were once like at our graduation, we were gifted like a clock because like the theme of the year had something to do with time and whatever. And so we were all gifted this nice clock. But like the first night that I tried to sleep in that room, the ticking of that clock annoyed me to such an extent that my totally stupid self just stuffed it in a whole lot of things and put it in a closet rather than try to remove the battery. To be fair, I was also super sleepy. It was middle of the night. Finished Metamorphosis. It's kind of no wait. You're now reading a novella, or Metamorphosis is kind of, I guess in Metamorphosis is kind of a novella. I've not read any books of Agatha Christie, sadly. Today I would start Black Coffee. I don't know about that one. Damn my weird, interesting clocks. Hey, Chadia. Around here, I cycle on the road, so I don't want to lose a sense. But you say you can hear the ambient news. Yeah, it's so it doesn't cover your ears. It's like it rests on your cheekbone, so your entire ear is basically free, and so you hear the ambient noise, but you also still register the sound coming through the headset. So the quality of the sound is like not perfect, though I would say like I don't know much about sound quality, and for me that means it's perfectly fine sound quality, but that is what I hear from like a colleague of mine who's more concerned with sound quality. I hate the many noises I can hear but not place. It always drives me insane to find out where they come from. Reminds me of that sketch, that Harry Potter sketch, like, what's that mysterious ticking noise? I'm done with office life. Our CTO has arranged catch-up calls with everybody, though. I am calling it a job interview or interrogation right now. We had Friday fun calls. That's what we called it. Ticking clocks are incompatible with my bedroom, too. Yeah, I don't have a clock in my bedroom. It's been driving me crazy for a week. Wow, that is a long time. I was worried it was my new air conditioning. I love the ticking, but that I'm an odd human. Okay. I cannot sleep with a ticking clock in the room. It makes me mad. I really enjoy hearing ticking of huge clocks though when I hear them somewhere. Okay, let's get up to the chat after this first sprint. So here we go, 40 minutes. Hope you guys all enjoy your book. And next time we need to talk about what you guys are reading because I don't even know. Hello. How did we all do? Did I listened to some 29 pages of The Mad Ship, and I made myself some much needed coffee. I am not necessarily falling asleep, but I can already feel like that I'll be struggling in the last sprint, so I needed to make sure that I got a little bit caffeine in there again. Where were we? Oh, hi, Faith. So Faith was there most of the sprints. Buffy's still here. Faith is currently eating. Well, I guess that would have been even more annoying in the long run. Now that you know what it is, it does it not bother you anymore? Oh my god, that video is amazing. Not over here, not over there. You mean the mysterious ticking noise one? Yeah, we used to. Ow! Ow! You totally got my hand there. I will not stop petting you. Clearly, we used to like sing that song along quite regularly. Plans in, dinner on, no books yet. It's the typical Thursday. I opened it up and bent the second hand back a little. If it starts it again, the glass is coming off, but I cannot abide high pitched sounds. Ah, nah, that's annoying. Somewhat bleeding over here, so. Cats. It's raining again. Well, okay, going to drink my tea and then read. Nice. Floofs. I didn't read anything, by the way. I made part of my puzzle while I drank my tea. And now we have a fate. Sorry, I absolutely just smacked you with my elbow. Now we have a fate. So I also started a puzzle yesterday, and I'm already thinking about breaking it down. Like it's a puzzle that I've previously tried and given up on in frustration, and restarting it is just as frustrating as it was back then. So it's like basically a puzzle where there's just too little differences in the color of the puzzle so that it just becomes like, just trying every piece all the time, which is very annoying. So it takes me 20 minutes to bring all my plants in from outside, the tender ones at least. Then I spend another 10 minutes preparing dinner, which I shall cook in the next sprint, and that's left 10 minutes. So 10 minutes in which you read, of course. Buffy won and claimed her human. Haha. Well, I definitely lost indeed. Oh, oh, that was too far down. Your bookshelf is so well organized. Well, maybe they look organized, but like when you have these people who have the organization that's like, like alphabetical or by genre or I don't know what other organizations people have, color, anything like that. Mine are chaotic. I don't organize by alphabet, definitely not. I do kind of organize by genre, but each sort of like shelf, not the shelf like that, not a bookcase, but each shelf individually is the same genre, but like there's fantasy in all three bookcases. It's just like some shelves in that one, some shelves over there, some shelves over there. It's not a continuation or anything like that. So it is to some extent just organized chaos, I guess. Hey, Charlotte. I read The Angel of Khanel Khalili, even though it's shorter. I liked it more than A Dead Gin in Cairo. Okay, I didn't necessarily like get much out of The Angel of Khanel Khalili just because, nothing really happens in my opinion. I've already forgotten quite a bit about it. I mean, I remember what the character was there for, and then like what they had to do. And maybe if I think very hard about it, I can still remember the resolution for it. I managed to survive one of the neighborhood cats today. I was in. Ah, yeah, I do remember now. I was inside the greenhouse at lunchtime when I wandered past and I saw it first. It's the one with the 5 meter exclusion zone. I've impulsively started rereading the Throne of Glass series. At least I'm reading right. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you just feel like doing that. I mainly have it with movies, or like I'm more inclined to allow myself to just like suddenly binge a certain like movie content or whatever, compared to book series. But live it, live your best life. If you're feeling like rereading those books, then that's a great way to get yourself motivated for reading again. Then I wandered around to shit, jumped again. Then I wandered around to tend to my strawberries and found it sat sunning itself while facing away. So I surprised it again. You need to wear like a bell or something. And a third time this evening when I went to sit out in the sun for a bit in another of its favorite sunny spots in my garden. Yeah, cats are living for like the sunny spots. Mine, I don't know actually whether they're like, because in principle they have a few spots where they're like lying in the sun. Yeah, they definitely have it in my office. Um, but yeah, when I'm home, I'm no longer in my office all that often, so I don't know whether during the day they might spend most of their time there enjoying like the sunshine through the window. That's so difficult when it's all the same. In mine, it's relatively similar with the forms and colors, but it's not too similar to not work. I've forgotten what this is actually about. Wait, what were we talking about earlier? With the forms and colors. Now I'm lost. Alphabetical and genre organization. Comics and cookbooks at the bottom shelf because heavy. I have a system too. Cookbooks are over there. So in my like kitchen counter. On the non-kitchen side, there was like a cabinet that was basically just like a lost cabinet because you could not access it from the kitchen side and it was just like closed from the other side. And my dad then worked on it to make it a cabinet on the non-kitchen side. And so there I keep like my whiskey glasses and then I also keep all of my cookbooks over there, but that's the only sort of dedicated space. And then like classics have a pretty dedicated space in nonfiction, but like everything else is kind of stretched around on my shelves. Spread around on my shelves. I've written my review for the day. I'm so behind with my reviews. I also am behind on Goodreads with my reviews. And now I can finally read. I'm reading The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. That's, I know the cover, and I think, is it something like a sorority type, a story that has to do with like sorority girls, like a probably more mystery thriller type? Hello, Mr. Start. Hello, Natalie. But was actually reading. What are you reading? I'm getting gin FOMO. Yeah, I need to get started. I am kind of worried about my TBR to some extent. I mean, I'm not that worried to the extent that, if whatever doesn't get finished by the end of the month is fine, except for the fact that I'm doing magical readathons. It's not really fine. But I kind of calculated if I read 100 pages in this every single day, and yes, I am using Power Chord as a bookmark at the moment, then I will only finish next Wednesday. And then we're so close to the end of the month. And in the weekends, next weekend, so the final weekend of the month, I will be in Amsterdam. So I do have like train ride to read, but then my friend is also there for most of that train ride. So we might not get that much read neither. So I still need to read that. And then I have two other books that I need to read in order for my magical readathon. What I want to say, like for me to finish the magical readathon from this chat of the short stories. Before reading the novel Black Coffee, I googled about the biography of Agatha Christie. Her biography is such an inspiring story. I don't know too much about her except for the fact that she went missing for at some point in time for like 3 days or something, and that the people don't know what or where she was during that time. Missing reading sprints because of reading. How could you? How dare you read outside of reading sprints? This is not allowed on BookTube. I've picked up two of the Jin's short stories on my Kindle, and I see from the date I am running out of time to get to it. I mean, the short stories at least will be quick to get through. I think I read every short story just like more or less in one go. Master of Jin, we will see, because yeah, I also don't think I'm going to be able to read it this month. It will have to be for the beginning of May. I assume the live show is like what date is that then? sixth or something like that. So doable. I don't know how people mix read and unread books. I like the idea of having everything in the same place, but my brain doesn't work like that. I used to have it like that. They were all on there, and it's only when I got to TBR zero that I actually got involved with like a reading cart, and that my TBR is now on the reading cart and not on the shelves. But what I had before that is that the books that I hadn't read yet were turned around so that they would have the pages towards people watching it, I guess. Feel you, haven't started anything yet. I'm currently reading a sci fi book called Those Left Behind. It's an OK Self pub, which I might be able to finish today. Dungeon. Nice. Is that the one you call the guest cats? Puzzle. Ah, puzzles. Makes sense now. Yes, it's puzzles. Yeah, did not get that riddle. I'm OCD enough that I even have all my shelves on each individual bookcase set at the exact time height so they flow all around the room. I actually dislike the fact that you cannot move the middle shelf over here because I would absolutely love for them all to be at different heights because I don't know, I just like it like that, I guess, because also when it comes to like my plates, most of my plates are the same, but I have like the small plates, like the dessert plates. I basically went and bought one plate of different plates that I liked so that they're all mismatched because I like that aesthetic compared to them all being the same plates. Yes, it's a sorority story, but the sorority has been the cover up for a witch coven for generation. Ah, nice. So many books, so many activities, so many commitments, always. I'm reading As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. I'm only 32 pages in and like the writing so far, but oh my god, that's gonna be a heavy read. Oh, okay, yeah, I don't actually know what it's about. I know that, like, I think at Yalk last year, a whole lot of people were getting the arc, I guess, for it. So I know the cover of it, but I'm not entirely sure what it is about. I've actually never heard anybody talk about, like, is it contemporary? Is it historical? Is it fantasy? Trees, yeah. I was supposed to finish Assassin's Quest last month and be reading Ship of Magic, Live Ship Book 1 this month, so I'm falling behind there. I'm thinking the Gin live show is 4th of May. Have not checked though. But it's always a first Saturday of the next month, right? And the first is a Monday, I believe. So I would think it will be the 6th, but I could be wrong. When you have as many unread books, it's not feasible to keep read and unread separate. Exactly. Yeah. Like that's kind of what I find weird about other people's TBR cards because I'm like, yeah, but not all of your TBR fits on your TBR card, right? So that's why I never wanted a TBR card when I had too big of a TBR because I was like, no, if I only want a TBR card, if every single TBR book can fit on it. So I guess there's a little bit of a, I don't know, nitpicky side to my brain there. Next sprint, I will continue The Wind from the Keyhole. The tramcar one I will save for tomorrow. Tramcar one I also really enjoyed. And yeah, I'm actually very, like, all three of the novellas did make me interested in seeing, like, will these perspectives return in Master of Jin, because I do want more of their story. I'm definitely gonna have to turn the light on in the next sprint because I'm losing the light here. I like my stuff to all line up. I agree about that fixed middle shelf on the bookcase, though, as it makes the spacing slightly less than optimal. Yeah, absolutely. So I have an extra shelf in the middle one, I think, but it is quite difficult because of the fact that you cannot move that middle shelf. It's really limiting on where you can put that extra shelf in because it still needs to be high enough for an actual book to be able to fit in. Also, I'm reading J.R. Silver Writes Her World, which is a middle grade with way too much contemporary and not enough magic, but I just need to finish the damn thing. Confirmation on 6th of May. Okay, woot. That gives me a little bit of breathing room. Yes. It's contemporary. Okay. It's about two women living in and later maybe fleeing from the Syrian war. Okay. Yeah, I knew it's like based on the cover, it looked Middle Eastern, but I didn't really know which country and which time periods, but that will probably be heavy indeed. I think that's my goal. Fit all unread books on my TBR card eventually, or adult and YA ones. I like having lots of unread middle grades. Yeah. When I am inputting books into the story graph, I keep finding the newsletter freebie books. For example, prequel number 0.5. I need to get used to checking for prequels on new series that I start. True, though, of course, a lot of times the prequels are actually written after the series, not the case for Master of Jin though. So in those cases, you can still say, okay, publication order. I will read the first book first and only go back to the prequel afterwards because it was at least published after. But Master of Jin is the exception because Master of Jin came out like, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, and I definitely heard about Tram Car 15 or 01015, I think is how they say it in the of 015. I think say 015 in the audiobook, but whatever. You can say whatever you want. I have so many books where where it fits, it sits, I guess. Yeah, definitely. It is absolutely trashing down outside here now. Yeah, that was the case like, I don't know, 2 hours before I had to return home. And I was like, I'm sorry, universe. I'm coming by bicycle now. I don't know whether you got the memo, but rain is not part of the deal now, okay? Oh, I sometimes have to go check my library to see if I have such and such a book, so keeping them in order helps with that. Though now I have a 100% accurate collection in the story graph. I checked that. Yeah, my collection in the story graph is not accurate because there will be books that I marked as owned, which at some point I owned, but then I unhauled, so they're not part of my owned collection anymore. You never have enough book space, right? I keep getting rid of other things so I get more space for books. I am still pretty decent for book space, I think. I mean, it's getting more difficult. I definitely feel like fantasy needs is taking over more and more of my shelves, and I'm definitely running out of space in that regard. So I do need to kind of potentially soon get rid of some books in order to make more room for fantasy. But then I guess some of my literary fiction might have to just go because some of those books are just on there because I really enjoyed them, but I will never read them again. At least I keep decluttering. Exactly. I got an unexpected gift today. I saw the postie with Van was outside and heard him trying to get something through the mailbox. Then he knocked on the door. I wasn't expecting anything, so I was puzzled. Turns out to be a thank you gift from somebody I've been helping out. Ah, that's very lovely. Yes, Natalie, same. Who needs clothes? More books in the wardrobe. I mean, I have a huge wardrobe, so I could indeed put my books in there. It's a last minute resort, I guess. I mean, Lala does that, right? From Books with Lala. Turns out to be a thank you. Wait, I already read that. Yes. I have this thing my mom used to display teacups on, but now it's for my mass market paperbacks. I mean, I love the fact that you're like displaying your mass market paperbacks, where a lot of people are trying to hide their mass market paperbacks. Though I find there to be something, there's something charming about an ugly mass market paperback cover, you know? Yes, Faith, I know. Oh, but actually, do we know what you are reading, Jess? Yes, a middle grade. I do know what you are reading. And most people, I think, have said what they were reading. I need to confirm it's from who I think it's from, but let's just say it's from my favorite chocolate maker. So they obviously paid attention to what I was wibbling on about. Nice. Always so nice when others are doing the same crazy things as me. I appreciate the price of definitely the price of mass markets is very, very nice. I had to pay a little bit too much for the book just recently, but it was very annoying because I ordered the book through Amazon and then like I ordered the book through Amazon months ago. They just canceled it like last week. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. That saves me from having this book on my shelf now. But then I ordered the book through a book depository, and then yesterday I got an email that they're also canceling my order. So I'm like, people, let me buy books, okay? I keep my mass mass market paperbacks pristine, no spine breakage. So I do like to present them. Yeah, you can present them definitely. I mean, the library copy actually is pretty okay. It's just got a very like a very um flexible spine. I would need an extra library room if I started buying all these super duper special edition hardbacks. And we are going to go into another sprint. Happy reading. I'm going to turn some lights on here because it's way too dark. Let's see you in 40. Hello, how did you guys do? I think I listened to some 30 pages. Yeah, 31, I think. So, it's going good. I'm on 2 times speed, which is very exceptional for me. But I am also, of course, sometimes reading along, though a lot of times I'm also like just listening at this point in time. So I've gotten used to the speed for once. Maybe it's just like a really slow one. That's also possible. Eh, where were they? Here. Fortunately, I don't collect fancy hardbacks. Yeah, like definitely with the fancy hardbacks, I would also be a little bit upset if something like were to get damaged. I was so upset about, was it Hero of Ages? I don't know. I cracked the spine by mistake right over Ellen's face. Sorry, dude. Dinner time. I cry out no when I accidentally ding a corner of the cover flap of my mass market paperbacks. I thought that it would happen. Like I thought it happens in this moment. That I thought that that was what this comment was. My bedside table drawer has a tendency to catch the flap if it's a floppy self-pub book, because the covers tend to curl upwards on them, so they get caught in the drawer. Let there be light, indeed. No, but the beautiful self-pubs. So this was me saying karma for you having bent your spine, but it's not the case. Hello, Alex. Hey, Kitty. Joining late because I fell asleep and now caught up to all the chatty bits. Reading Grace of Kings. Nice. That's the first one, right? Hey, Daniela. My routine seems to be deal with my tender plans during sprint 1, cook and demolish dinner during sprint 2, and then I'm a free man for sprint 3. Do I read my book or try to reduce my YouTube backlog? Depends. If you still have to watch my video, I would say YouTube backlog. Otherwise, I say read. I did Duo and read 21 pages. Nice. Meow, meow, meow. Yes, indeed. Cue Buffy. Had dinner and read 30 pages. Oh man, that book is so tragic. I already feel sick and devastated. Oh, take many breaks if you need them. 54 pages. Nice. Ich. I also appeased the bird that sprint and read a bit more. I have about 70 pages left. Nice. I am currently 3 days behind on my YouTube viewing. There is somebody famous with a March wrap up episode next. Well, in that case, you know my answer. Though you're absolutely allowed to read next sprint if you prefer. During the last sprint, I was watching Patrick on YouTube reviewing book 7 of The Wheel of Time. Nice. You've read The Wheel of Time then? Or it was like spoiler free maybe? Sorry. I really like in Lifeship Traders that it's like a multi POV book. The only thing that I dislike about the multi POV in it is that some perspectives it seems to take forever for you to get back to. Like at this point in time, we're getting a lot of one particular perspective in particular, and then there's one perspective, one of my favorite perspectives, that we've basically only had like one chapter off, and I'm like 160 pages in at this point in time. And I'm like, give me the rest of this perspective. I want to go back to this character. So in that regards, I guess Farseer is less frustrating in the sense that you have Fitz all the time, but on the other hand, I would love to have a break from Fritz sometimes as well. During the last wait, that I already read. Patrick comments that this is the start of the slog for the Wheel of Time. Salty Patrick is the best Patrick. Oh, I didn't know that there was a Salty Patrick as well. Apparently, the slog portion lasts for either 3 or 4 books from 7-8 to book 10. Yeah, it's pretty famous for having some sort of a slog indeed. I've heard multiple people who read Wheel of Time talk about it. I don't know whether I will ever attempt Wheel of Time. I never really had an interest in it because it's basically one of those big fantasy series that I knew about when I was like a teenager and was picking up books in the library, but I never really had much of an interest in it. And then I kind of got some interest to the extent that when I started to read more fantasy again on BookTube, I kind of felt the need to like be a qualified fantasy reviewer, let's say, and having read all the classics. But then also, I see enough people who dislike Wheel of Time for me to be like, you know what? I really don't have much ingrained interest in this series, so why bother? Hello, Barbara. I've been stuck on TikTok, so couldn't chat earlier. How are you? I'm doing good. It's been a little bit more of an allergy day. Like, it's not bad enough for me to end my procrastination and go to the doctor. But like I thought like 2 days ago or so, I was like, oh, my nose is open again. I'm finally done with this cold, blah blah blah. And then like yesterday at some point I was like, oh, okay, my nose is starting to get stuffed again. So I guess it's not a cold, I guess it's just allergies. Grace of Kings is the first, and I'm just at the beginning too, so no idea what awaits me. It's one that I definitely also want to give a shout, like give a shot. I think I've been wanting to read it for probably already like 6 years or so at this point in time, but it's just like never made it to my priority. So my question is, does this make you more or less wanting to read a famously sloggy portion of a big series, more with curiosity to see if it's really as bad as they say? It can't be that bad, surely. Hmm. I don't know. I don't think I have that type of curiosity. If someone were to tell, like, I like reverse psychiatry works on me, so like I bet that you wouldn't be able to appreciate this. Those types of comments work on me to make me go like, I will read this and I will absolutely appreciate this fuck out of this now. But like people saying that something is super super bad does not really make me interested in seeing if it is that bad, you know? I don't really have much curiosity in that sense. I own books 1 to 9 in the very small paperback formats. I've read maybe two or three at a push way back, quite literally decades ago, possibly 2 decades, so I'm not fussed yet, still curious. Yeah. I have the first Wheel of Time on my Kindle and it never really calls to me, but it's there. Yeah. Ugh, I saw on the news that today tree pollen levels are extreme by me, lol. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought very high was the worst. Yeah, I mean, today should have been a good day. Didn't check the levels, but like it was raining most of the day, which normally means that like allergy goes down. Though I guess it was only raining mainly in the afternoon and I mainly had issues in the morning. So maybe it's fine now. We talked of going to the office earlier. One reason I don't want to go to the office is I don't want to catch colds, etc. I haven't been ill in years and also haven't been to the office in years. To be fair, before like I had my cold like what 2 weeks ago or so, I hadn't had a cold neither in years, and I've been back in the office since like I don't know August 2021 or something like that probably. Yeah. What do you have to say to the people? Mhm. What are you reading? I don't know what that book is. Oh no, the hiding. I find it very cute when she does that, so she kind of hides her face in my arm. I don't know whether it's just because she hates the light, but she does it quite regularly, and it's like the cutest thing. I've not suffered from pollen problems, so I don't know what that's like. Yeah, usually the clearest sign to me is my eyes, and so yesterday morning, for example, I woke up and like my eyes were hurting, and so I was rubbing them, and they were like immediately super red. So that's clear sign to me, pollen. But when the eyes aren't there, when I don't have itchy eyes, then it's more difficult for me to distinguish it from a common cold. It's so annoying. Even Buffy agrees. Exactly. Good loud cat noises with the mic in close. Love to hear it. They were super like not, I wouldn't say anxious, but they were really confused yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I was watching a video of Emmy, the channel is, and she was doing like a whole video about books that she'd read from different countries around the world. But in the background, her cat was like constantly meowing, but you never saw the cat. All you heard was like light meows. So that even in the beginning, I was a little bit confused. Like, is this sound coming from outside? And then I was like, no, 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 it's definitely coming from inside the video. But my cats, every time that they heard these meows, they were just like, where is this meowing cat? I cannot see the meowing cats. She also, by the way, has a great name for her cats because it's a ginger cat and it's called Calcifer from Howl's Moving Castle. Same, I also haven't been sick in years and have been back in the office and teaching in the classroom for a long time now. Yeah, I think I just jinxed it because I realized, like, I don't know, a month ago or so, maybe, like, oh, I haven't been sick in a long while. And then, of course, then it has to happen. I mean, the last time I remember being sick is just like from the COVID vaccine, the day after. So that's really the last thing that I remember. She's so cute. I can't from hiding. Yeah, that's the cutest when she does that. Like, I don't know. I think last week or so, she was like on my lap and like fully hiding. And it was like, oh, you're too cute. Panther, the 5 meter exclusion zone neighborhood cat, sometimes sits in my garden and wails out loud at what I have no idea, but otherwise they are silent. Yeah, like typically like cats who don't have owners are silent because cats amongst themselves don't actually need to meow to communicate. And so it's kind of like a taught behavior. I would really love to unteach Buffy to meow, but at this point in time I've given up. I tried the whole sort of like don't try to talk to your cat saying don't respond when they're meowing, but it really didn't do anything. I tried it for like months and it didn't make any change to the amount of meowing Buffy was doing, so I was like, yeah, whatever. I'd like to make friends with Panther and Scaredy Cat, the 5 meter and whole garden exclusion zones, but they don't seem to want to know. I mean, okay, no, 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 no scratching, please. But they say that if you like don't want a cat to want to get to know you, then cats are like super intrigued and they're like, wait, you don't want to know me? Hey, you will get to know me. So maybe you need to like play hard to get. Uh, we'll give the people what they want and put the cat on camera, lol. Yeah. Here she is in all her glory. Yes. She's looking at me like, what the fuck? Eh. I chuckle when Tiger, the guest cat, comes over for scritches, and the other two are at the far end of the garden looking on. Like, what? The guest cat has a name, or did you make up the name? I adopted my new cat on Saturday and then watched the magical readathon sprints. And G had the cat timer for the sprints so far. That's the only cat sound my cat reacted to. Yeah, I mean, usually it's only Fate. Fate very much loves animals on video. So whenever the TV has any type of animal in it, she's like super interested and will watch the screen a lot. But Buffy typically doesn't really react to it. So I think Buffy was just mainly reacting because she was like, I don't understand what's going on. The number of folks on my team that are off poorly at various times. Wait. Yeah. So I'm quite happy just avoiding everybody. Yeah, definitely in like company wide there are quite a lot of people who are getting sick. I feel like it's gone over now. Like I feel like 2-3 weeks ago or so is when a lot of people were falling sick, me included. Sort of like my husband and I jinxed ourselves a few months ago. Oh, it's been several years of COVID and we haven't gotten it yet, jinx. I haven't gotten it yet, I think, and I've said it multiple times. So I have jinxed myself multiple times without catching it. But I mean, to be fair, the only time that I've done a test is when I was sick 2 weeks ago. So if I had COVID without symptoms, I wouldn't have known. I mean, of course, during COVID, I did the test quite frequently, but yeah, even then, it could have been a false negative. But then G's cats were meowing too, and I thought it was my new one. So I ran to her like, "Is everything okay?" She was like, "What's going on, human?" Yeah, sometimes it's difficult, like when you hear a meow. Though I guess after a while you know your cat's meows, and then it happens less frequently because then there's much more chance of you hearing the meow and being like, "No, that's not my cat's." Yes, I mean they demand to be seen. I tend towards being respectful of the neighborhood's cats in the garden. Like I'll try and keep my distance unless I'm working on something in the garden. That's how I know Panther has a 5 meter exclusion zone. I mean, you're always busy. It's the cat is like, oh, I don't know when to approach him. No, the names I'm sure I'm using are made up. I just call them that. Hey, I'm working, but I will read Babel for a bit with you. Nice. Garrett Powell, the sci-fi author, went to a con over Easter, caught COVID, and missed his new book launch events. Oh no, must have been so peeved by that. I like the nicknames. Another step closer to being best friends. Sometimes the neighborhood cats surprise me because they pass through fairly often. It's nice. I don't actually think I see many like wild cats here. It's of course like the middle of a city. So I guess a lot of people who have cats will keep their cats kind of like indoors or the cats are just like more used to going into the sort of like parks and stuff. But there is a park here and I've never seen a cat there. But I did see a cat and like I did pass a cat last week and then there's a place nearby where there are a lot of cats who are like not really wild cats, of course, but like cats that they know are there and they feed them, but they don't try to rehome them because they're basically like too antisocial at this point. Catching them would just be too stressful for them. So when I pass by there, I like to go and check in on the cats as well. And I actually think that the cat that I crossed last week was one of those because it looked a little bit more like disheveled, so it didn't look like it had a home and it looked kind of like one of those cats. But aside from that, I don't actually see many cats here. But I know that they're a little bit further. There are quite a few cats that are always roaming around the park there. I have to take longer routes around the garden to try and respect the exclusion zones. Hello, I'm still working, but at least wanted to say hi before you go. Hi, hope you have a lovely rest of your workday. Working quite late, is that normal? Are you preparing stuff for the shop? I wonder if Tiger the Gas Cat is as friendly with other neighbors as it is with me, wandering in to explore the house, etc. Yeah, possible. Can kind of depend, of course. Your place can be like neutral territory because you don't have your own cat, and maybe other neighborhood houses all have cats, and then you're special for them then. Tufty over there being a respectful, gentle, cat-loving human who grows snacks and is still confused why they love him. I am having to adapt the garden to them, using nets to block off areas that I do not want them rummaging around in. They poop in my soil beds, and I do not want them messing with young plants. I mean, extra soil, right? Except for like if they were to pee in it, I don't know whether cat pee is really all that beneficial. I found and sat on soil inside the greenhouse, so I dare not leave the greenhouse door, wide open in case they decided to jump up and sit on my small potato plants. Yeah. Faith definitely did that. Like I have a what do you call that? Like a planter, let's say, on my balcony, and I had some plants in there, but Faith absolutely loved to just lie on the dirt there, even though there were like small plants growing there. It's like, yeah, thank you. I will absolutely enjoy this lettuce with cat hair in it. They seem to like long blades of grass. Yeah, I think it kind of depends. You have I think a lot of cats do like it, not all of them, but I know that like out of all the cats I had it, there was like one who really loved to like go outside and eat grass. So the quiet one, and for once Buffy is not reacting to the fact that she is on my lap. So maybe she can actually lie down on it without a rebellion starting. But I don't think she's gonna. Fate is like, love me, human. Yes. Fate is the let me get your attention by tapping you. Buffy is the let me just incessantly meow until you show me affection. Once the, plant, once the plants grow substantial enough, they seem to either ignore them or walk around them. So the peas and broad beans are tall enough to survive without protection. Yeah. All right. This is the last one already, right? Wow, we've been going strong so far. Am I correct about that? Must be. Yeah, must be. So, yeah, enjoy this final sprint. Good luck, guys, and see you guys in 40 minutes. And we made it through the final sprint, guys. Good, like, congratulations on 2 hours of reading. I made it past the 200-page mark, which is nice. Ideally, I make it past the 300-page mark tomorrow, but I do also have plans with friends in the evening, so potentially I won't have the time for that. But in any case, in the weekend I typically get a little bit more reading done, so hopefully I'll just catch up to it then in Saturday and Sunday. But I had some chapters in the perspective that I've been waiting for, and so currently the chapter that I was listening to is also from that perspective. So I will still finish the chapter after the sprint as well. But yeah, very much enjoying it so far. And let me see where we were. I think here, right? It takes me 20 minutes to move all my trays in and out each day, which tells you I have quite a few trays. They don't all fit on the upper shelf, so I have to put many of the planters in the greenhouse. Fate is like, love me, human. It's her love language. Once the plants grow substantial. Okay, I did actually already read this. My onions need extra protection, so I can't move a tunnel hoop and net just yet. Okay. Reminds me of my favorite lemur gif lol, where the kid stops scritches and the lemur pats his back like, hey, who says you could stop? Exactly. Fate was living in paradise for a while there until Buffy was like, oh, wait, you're showing Fate's attention? I'm the one who needs all the attention. I'll read a book for Sprint 3 and watch your latest episode afterwards. Nice! Let's see if you actually read. I read 40 pages. Nice. I didn't read in this sprint, but first took care of the plants and then of myself. Also, very important. I actually upped the speed even further, so now I'm 2.5. And whereas initially that was a little bit difficult, now I'm following along to that perfectly fine. I will put it down again tomorrow when I'm like listening to it on the commute because I will have my attention wavering between traffic. So then I might not be able to follow along to that speed. I have about 15 pages left. Yay! Definitely will finish it after. 25 pages. Nice. I read my book for a change these sprints indeed. Nice change. Read chapter 1 and I'm into it. Quite intrigued. Nice. Read 60 pages. I have 140 left now, but won't finish it though. I mean, there's always tomorrow to be able to finish it. Well done, everyone. Indeed, very productive reading sprints for most of us. And, if they're not productive, they don't need to be productive. But I feel like most people have got quite a lot of things done. This book has multiple perspectives, but I haven't integrated sufficiently. So I pause at the start of each chapter as I align with which character it names. I don't recognize the names immediately. Yeah, I had that a little bit with this book as well because sometimes, it starts with a name. It's like, wait, do I know this name? And then as the chapter goes along, I'm like, I do know this name. Or in some cases, it's like a perspective that we haven't had in the first book. So we know the character, but it just takes me a little bit longer to realize. But now I feel like I'm back on track with who everybody is. I have about 60 pages left in this book, and here I'm saying I'm not fully integrated. That's not a good sign. Yeah, I mean, or just, yeah. I guess it's not a good sign, right? To not feel fully engaged with it when you're that close to the finish. But that also happens sometimes, Not all reading is great reading. Sometimes we have a little bit of a lesser experience or just a mediocre one. Oh, so, do I go to bed now and finish my book, or do I watch a certain famous person's latest booktube episode? I mean, you can absolutely decide to go to bed and watch it tomorrow, if you are getting tired, which I would understand. Though for you, it's of course 1 hour earlier, so maybe you're not tired yet. But yeah, I understand needing to go to bed early on a weeknight, especially. Yeah, what is the yeah about? But uh, what did I want to talk about? I had a thought in my brain, and now every thought has disappeared. Is that the impact of petting a cat. Not tired yet, but being so close to the end of the book is tempting. Yeah, definitely, of course. Like, with what did I have it? I think with Bone Shard Daughter, that was like the first book in a while that really tempted me with the idea of potentially like cute Buffy moment here. Potentially, I can like just finish it all that evening instead of waiting until like the next day to finish it. Um, but in the end, I decided no, let me just go for my sleep because even if I like am tempted to do it, I kind of know that at this point in time I just cannot do it anymore. I'm just too much of the tired adult so that even if I were to attempt it, probably it would mean that like 10 pages out from the end would be the point in which I would just like absolutely be like, nah, I've been falling asleep for like the last 40 minutes and I've only finished one page in 40 minutes. So I need to give up. So then I'm stopped. Then I'm stuck. Then I'm stopping at an even worse point in time in the book. I am 3 days behind on my YouTube subs, so I don't know when I will manage to catch up. No worries. I definitely tend to stay up to finish a book even if I'll be exhausted the next day. See, my issue isn't necessarily even the fact that it affects my next day, it's just that I really literally cannot do it anymore. I mean, maybe here in the sofa I could. I'm just always too tempted to go to the bedroom, and in the bedroom I cannot. If I'm in bed trying to finish a book, I will absolutely fall asleep. I switched to my audiobook, Bad Cree, while doing the dishes during last sprint. Nice. I was lights out at 10:20 p.m. last night after I admitted defeat in the Battle of Ice versus Book. Yeah, I have that battle quite frequently when I'm reading in my bedroom. Um, and 10:20 is like typical for me, but it hasn't been for a while. And I would actually love to go back to the sort of like at 10 going to my bedroom and before 11 being asleep sort of pattern. But recently it has not been happening. And I've been falling asleep or turning the lights off way closer to like midnight, which is not great for my sleep. You booktube folks have changed my routine by getting me reading in my chair in the evening. Very new behavior for me. Yeah. I think I was probably always already reading in my chair in the evening. Like, I mean, I definitely did a lot more of my reading in beds, like in my teenage years or early 20s. Apparently, I could still do it back then without, this automatically resulting in the battle between the eyes and the book. But nah, that ain't happening anymore. I usually try to read to midnight. I wake up naturally after 7 hours of sleep, so midnight to 7 a.m. is perfect for me. Being asleep before 11 never ever happens to me. Yeah, it used to be the case. Like, I wouldn't say like it's necessarily before 11, but it's like around 11 is the time in which I would fall asleep. Buffy's being extra cute today. Yes. She's winning everybody over, but being still asleep at 11 a.m. does, yeah, that as well. I can't read in bed anymore. It hurts my back. I read on my side, but that is like even more tempting to fall asleep. When your head is already on the pillow. This is also my sleeping position, so that's like this is probably why it's doomed to fail. I used to be able to read with like holding my book like that, or sitting on my elbows, like on my belly, elbows up, and like sitting like that. But that hurts my shoulder now. But yeah, indeed, we are rounding off these sprints. Half a minute left. I've gone like 3 minutes over in total. That's fine, I hope. Thank you for these lovely sprints. Thank you guys for being here with me and making it a lovely, cozy evening. Next week, we will just repeat. And so I hope you guys have a lovely day, but especially a lovely week until the next time we see each other. But so yeah, with this, I am gonna be clicking end broadcast. So see you guys for next